Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where I'm working with you step by step through the ABRSM Theory grades. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets and you can download those in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. You'll find a page there with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can also find information about the books that I have available. I've written how to take your ABRSM Music Theory exam. It's full of tips and hints on how to best prepare for your exam and also how to make the best use of your time on exam day when you're working through your exam paper. So if you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find it all there. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more in store. And so now we're going to have a look at the first couple of questions on this sample paper, Y, for grade 2. So this is provided as a sample by the ABRSM, showing you the newly revised exam paper layout. It was never sat as an actual exam. It's just available for you to download for free. If you want to find where to get that from, you can see the link in the description below. And although this is the new look paper, I would still recommend that you go back over some of the older past papers and make use of those. They're an excellent revision resource, even though some of the questions have changed in the way they look. And also there's no longer the composing a 2-bar answering rhythm. Nevertheless, we will press on for now with this paper. As ever, I always suggest that you have a go of this yourself. It doesn't matter if you go wrong. It's always better to learn by your mistakes. I would always write in pencil. I use a mechanical pencil just so it stays nice and sharp, and that way it stays neat, because if your answers aren't clear and neat, you may risk losing some marks. So I suggest you have a go of this. If you go wrong, it doesn't matter. You can just rub it out and have another go. And so now we'll check through these answers together. So question 1 asks us to name the degree of the scale. So we're counting the distance between the steps of the scale. We're in D major, so we're always counting from D as our note 1. So there are 2 ways you can do this, or you could do a mixture of both to double check yourself. So we're just literally counting from D. Remember, we're in the treble clef, so that's D. 1, 2, 3, D, E, F. We go space, line, space. Alternatively, to double check yourself, so we can see that's a third, if you write the steps of the scale, I know there's sharps and things, but your key signature deals with that. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, back to your octave. And so you can see that F is a third. If you want to just check you've not gone wrong. The only way you can go wrong is if you forget to count the first note, the tonic D, as 1 and begin your counting a step too late. So let's carry on. So here we have a D, and so that's the tonic, the home note. So you could say first, you could say octave, or you could say eighth. It all means the same thing because it just comes full circle. So let's count this next one from D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're on an A, and we can see that A is the 5th, so that clarifies that. So if that's an A and that's a 5th, G is 1 step down, that must be a 4th. So count from D, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can see that G is a 4th. So there's lots of ways we can go about double checking that. Here we have a top D, every good boy deserves. So again, we've come full circle, so the principle remains the same. You can either say octave, or you can say eighth, or you can say first. Any one of those just means the same thing. It means you're on the tonic. So if that's the octave, 1 step down is 1 less, that's 7th, and let's just check. 1, D, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's a C, which we know is the 7th. And then 1 step down from 7 has to be 6. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and B is the 6th. That's correct. So E, we're counting from D up 1 more, so first, second. This is where you could just go wrong and forget to count 1, 1, 2. E is the second. And then we're back where we started, and they've already told us this one. We know that this is a third. 1, 2, 3. D, E, F is the third. But they've already given us that one, if you can just but see it. So there we go. Now we need to look at the letter name of the highest note. So we're just looking how high we go. That's pretty high, but this is even higher. Now be careful here, a bit of a trick. Yes, it's an F, every good boy does football. However, we're in D major, which means we've got a key signature of F sharps and C sharps, and so it's an F sharp because that key signature is active on that top F. There we go. Let's press on to the next question. So now we're asked to rewrite the following, and we've got to regroup or beam these notes correctly. And so we need to reflect the time signature in the way that we group these notes. So we're counting in 2 crotchet beats or 2 quarter notes per bar, and so we need to reflect each beat in the way that we group things. There is the odd exception, but for the most part we just have to group in crotchet beats. And so if, like me, your math isn't great, I visualise there's a full beat, and I'm going to divide that into quarters, and we can see I've got a half a beat there with that quaver or 8th note. The dot makes it half as long again, and then there's a quarter of a beat with our semiquaver or 16th note. We can see that that makes a full beat, so they should be together. So we group those together to form a crotchet beats worth. Now don't be confused by the fact that there's triplets here. Remember, 3 just means, that triplet means just 3 in the time of 2, and we know that 2 halves make a whole, so all of those will be grouped together as a beat, because 2 quaver beats make 1 crotchet, 2 8th notes make a quarter note. So those 3 will all be joined together, because again, 3 in the time of 2, we can see that that's 1 crochet beat or 1 quarter note beat. Here again, we can see we've got exactly the same rhythm. We've got 3 quarters and a quarter, that's a beat. 3 quarters and a quarter, that's a beat. Of course, that stays as it is, that's a single beat. We don't want to join that, because if you join that, you'll change the time value. It'd be like adding a little tail on if you beam that. And then 3 in the time of 2, which is 1 crochet beat, 1 quarter note, so they need to be joined together in a beam 2. So that's all the thinking done. Now we've just got to actually do what we've set out to do. So you can do this in any order you like, but I just prefer to get the blobs in place. And that way I know everything's correctly spaced. I'm keeping everything aligned with theirs so that on the one hand I don't get lost, I can see exactly where I am, and also I know that I'm spacing them correctly and I'm not going to be running out of space. So for the most part I'm just trying to keep these aligned, dotted, dotted. Doesn't really matter what order you do this in, just I prefer getting the blobs in place first. So now the stems, so we're going to have to make some decision about stems. That's another reason why I do the blobs first, because then my mind is free to now think about which way the stems are going to go. So that comes down. These are below the middle line, so both of these come stem up. We beam those together, and then we show that that's a semiquaver or a 16th note by putting just a little partial tail there. We don't connect it all the way through though, otherwise that will change the value of this note. Now here, this one should have the stem going up. These should have the stems going down. We need to group them together, so really these two outvote this one, and also it's outvoted just by none because it's 2 against 1, but also this note here is 1, 2, 3, 4 away from the middle line, which can go either way. This is only 1 step away. This is only 1 step away from being able to go either way. So in terms of proximity to the middle line, it's outvoted as well. By all means use a ruler. And then the triplet sign can now go here. Or I suppose you could do that, but now that they're beamed, the triplet sign will do the job for you. So these are all above the middle line, so that decision's nicely made. Find it harder coming the other way without a ruler somehow. Best keep it neat and tidy. So these two joined together, 3/4 and 1/4 of a beat make a hole. We'll beam those. That one must come down, that can go either way, so we'll come down still. I'm doing a slight diagonal to show that there's a bit of a downwards trend there. That one goes up just as normal. Now again, we've got this scenario where we need to choose. This is above the middle, this should come down, this should come down, this should come up. So it's kind of outvoted again. And this one is 3 steps away, this one's only 1 step away. So that also casts the vote. So just decide how low I want that to go. And then put our triplet sign there. So there we go. That's that question completed. We'll have a look at the next question in the next video. I do hope that's helpful to you. I hope that you're enjoying it. I certainly am enjoying working through it with you. If you can give me a like, that would be really fab, and please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. And also please do visit sharonbill.com and make use of all the resource and information that's available there to help you. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.